What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to the Rush Hour. Welcome to the post game. Buffalo Bills lose a heartbreaker once again, 32-29. A game that you kind of expected, going right down to the wire. And first off, I want to say thank you to the Buffalo Bills for an exciting season once again. The media and pretty much everybody counted them out at the beginning of the season when they lost Steph Diggs, Mitch Morse at center, Gabe Davis, and they proved to everyone that everyone eats works. And and I want to say congrats to the Chiefs. Congrats to the Chiefs. Good luck going for the three-peat. It's never been done. It's the first team, Cody, that's had an opportunity to go to get a three-peat, to go to the Super Bowl. No other team before them made it to the Super Bowl to even have a shot. I'm getting the three-peat. So good luck to you, Chiefs. And Chad, I see you out there. Yeah, what a game. And Weston, congratulations to your team. You did what you needed to do. You got the win. You guys just always seem to get it done. And thanks for joining me, Cody. I asked you the other day to join us on the post game because it was either going to be tears of sorrow or tears of happiness, and obviously not tears of happiness. But thank you for joining us, Cody, because you're going to need to help me through this. Jake should join us here shortly, hopefully. He's putting the baby down. But Cody, to me, and then I'll throw it to you for your take on this game. For me, I think it was a well-ref game. I think it came down to two things. First, the Buffalo Bills, the tush push. 4th and inches. It wasn't even 4th and 1. The stat's going to say 4th and 1, but it was literally 4th and inches. And the Bills' stubbornness, I get it. All year, it's been working. Go to the left. Go to the left. Josh snaps the ball. Tush push to the left. I don't even know if they're getting a good tush push. I don't know if anyone's really behind them pushing them. But anyhow, you had seen signs that I think they made a stop earlier in the game on that. And the Bills go back to it and don't make it. Now, the first line judge says, clearly marks it where it's going to be a first. The other one doesn't. Obviously, the guy who said it was short overruled the other one. Then they go to the replay, and it stands. So that right there. And then to me, it came down to coaching once again. The Buffalo Bills, Cody, had the ball with over 3 minutes to go and 3 timeouts, and they had just stopped the Chiefs to a field goal. This is it. This is your chance to rewrite history. Finally, right? Josh Allen, go down and prove all the critics wrong. Joe Brady, come on, make up some plays. Get us down there. And, credit to Spags once again. He dials it up, and the Bills, weren't prepared. And then Josh Allen still on that 4th and 5 finds a way to get it out with his arm. And there is Dalton Kincaid, which to me looked like a pretty easy catch, pretty basic catch. And he drops it. Again, I know we've had tight ends back-to-back weeks, Cody, failing for the teams. But again, I'm not going to put it so much on Kincaid. I don't think we should have gotten to a 4th and 5. But again, Spags just outcoached this team. So, Cody, give me your breakdown. What was the difference in the game for you?
Yeah, obviously, I was wrong on the style of game that was going to be played because we turned it into an absolute shootout. Patrick Mahomes started throwing the football all over the field. I believe in terms of passer rating or next gen stats, some sort of metric, he just had a 99th percentile game and his best game ever in terms of efficiency or whatever stat that is out there. You can use stats to say whatever you want, but he had a hell of a game. And whenever you are the best player in the league and you show up in the biggest and brightest moments, he certainly did it again tonight. And so for the Bills side, though, man, the goal to go play calling, and you mentioned it with the tush push and on the 4th and inches and on the goal line multiple times and on the 2-point conversion again, it was just failing all night long. So why do you keep running back to it? And I mean, on the 4th and inches one, I fully think that replay showed obviously that was a first down. They went with the call on the field, which for some reason was overruled by the line judge who was looking at the back of Josh Allen and not at the ball that Josh Allen was holding, which was the one with this line judge who had the better angle and was clearly in front of the first down. Don't know why that call was made on the field, but obviously it's not going to come down to single plays like that. We can complain about them all we want, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, you finally get the ball back, 3 minutes to go. and it's you put the ball in Josh Allen's hands, and he tried to do everything that he possibly could in that game. I mean, you've got him diving over the pile to get your fourth and one-on-one because the tush push wasn't working like normally. It's to dive over the line to get it, and then you don't pick up the corner blitz that's coming, and he still bails you out, gives you a chance, puts the ball up to Dalton Kincaid. He drops that one. I'm not going to fully put that one on him either. Like, it's a scramble drill, hard
Yeah.
coming back to the ball, diving play. You should probably still catch it, but I knew it's a difficult play, and it's tough. I mean, he also had another drop, I believe, earlier in the first half as well. That was pretty brutal. Stalled out a drive as well. So kind of a tough game for him in his last game, going down for the Bills here. But it was a fantastic game. Seriously, like it was. And maybe it's just because I've picked up a little bit of fandom for the Bills coming along on the ride with y'all, but that is the most stressed out I've ever been watching a football game that was not a team that I have as my number one fandom team. So appreciate y'all. Let me go for one more week of fandom. I will hate watch next week with Philly and the Chiefs. I have to reorient my brain to say, like, I want to cheer for the Chiefs now, I guess. And it's an unfortunate thing. The season comes to an end, and now we have 7 months of solitude and pain and boredom on every single weeknight and it's weekends as well. It's a tough spot to be.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think it's 2 weeks. I think it's Super Bowl's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And then I think next weekend is the Pro Bowl garbage that they put out there now. It was, the Chiefs were obviously had the momentum. They kick off to us, and we quickly they quickly force us to punt. I'm like, oh no, here they come right down the field and do their thing, and they're up 21-10. And the Bills, we know they're going to get the ball at half, so the Bills get the ball right before halftime, and Josh Allen puts together a nice drive, topped off with a beautiful throw and a beautiful catch by Matt Collins. And I got to tell you, Matt Collins has quickly become one of my favorite players on this team. Not as only a great teammate, great blocker, and he makes key plays. He made a couple big plays in this game, and that catch was unbelievable. Now, just like last week, where we had, where the Ravens failed to complete or accomplish 2-point conversions, we failed as well, and just heartbreaking. So, but still, you go into half 21-16. You're like, okay, we got to get a stop. And the Bills do just that. They come out in the second half and they get, I believe, back-to-back stops. And let's see here. End of the second quarter, yes, they get the 6 and out for the Chiefs. And the Bills get the ball, go 12 plays, 80 yards, showed their dominance in the run game, Cody. They started to lean on it, and it was working. And they go up 22-1. Guess what? They 22-21. They try another 2-pointer and can't get it done. Then they get the Chiefs go 3 and out on the next play. You're like, let's go. And this is the drive. They're up 22-21. That's the drive where Josh Allen is stuffed on a 4th and inches. And it's just heartbreaking to me that we couldn't get that done, because they go down, score on that, whether it's a field goal or touchdown. Big momentum shift right there, Cody.
It was. I mean, as soon as that fourth and inches play was stopped, it felt like there was a momentum shift. There was kind of a comeback, that like late resurgence that the Bills had, but it truthfully felt like that was a make or break play that really just took wind out of their sails. And also, I mean, you had a little bit of a struggle out of the gate, too. I think Josh he looked a little bit zeked up a little bit at the beginning of the game. Like, nerves were getting to him a little bit. Nothing within those first 15, your scripted plays were running really right, but then kind of settled into the game once you got to the second quarter. But, a little bit of a missed opportunity out of the gate as well, I think, to potentially put something together. The running game did get going. It was a little bit interesting to me. There was a lot of times that I thought, James Cook could certainly be on the field or handling a couple more touches than he certainly got. But he had a really good game. I just think he could have done a little bit more in terms of, I guess, personnel usage within this game.
Yeah, I agree. Chad, yeah, your defense did play well, and Spags dialed it up when he needed to. Again, on 4th and 5, I'm thinking, Joe Brady's got to dial something up a little bit. You got to know Spags is bringing pressure. You got to know. Now, the tricky thing about Spags is you don't know where he's going to bring pressure from. But you would hope that we had dialed up a better play on fourth down. Again, Josh does everything he can and tries to be Superman throwing that ball down the field. And unfortunately, again, Kincaid's going to take a lot of heat. It's a catch that, all of us, we're not on the field, but all of us were thinking back to our childhood days. I can make that catch. Well, like Cody said, it's a little different when it's a pressure game. There's a lot of guys flying around, and he has to come back for that. But still, that's brutal here. And then, yeah, it was a great game, amazing game, like it always is. I like my mother-in-law was here. We had family over, which was great. A lot of support, holding hands, trying to make this a Bills victory. But she says, "Well, the Bills played well, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, they always play well." But and this is one of the best games all year. This is one of the best games all year, and it's a great game for anyone that's not a Bills fan. It's a spectacular game for anyone that's not a Bills fan, Cody.
Yeah. I mean, it should be Super Bowl. Like, honestly, if there wasn't an AFC NFC split, I think these two teams would have met up in a Super Bowl. And, obviously the crushing defeat and the feelings would still probably be the same if the outcome ended up this way. But this game truly felt like the two best teams in the NFL right now. Obviously, the Eagles had a fantastic day earlier today too, against the Commanders, but this game every single time it just keeps building the narrative, and unfortunately it's been kind of one-sided, at least in the playoffs. But Josh Allen, the regular season's where it kind of shines, but the playoffs where it really matters, and it hasn't come to fruition for y'all yet, which is tough. But truthfully, turned, like you said earlier, a very questionable season into a very, very good one that there's a lot of good things to take away from. But unfortunately right now, the pain of defeat is probably overweighing a lot of those potential takeaways that you can start to go into the off season with.
Yeah, when you get there. Oh, I see you, Brad. I'll bring you up. Just saw you there. Give me a second here to bring you up. I want to answer this from Trek Viewer. It seemed like every play went against Buffalo, and I said early on, I don't think it was penalties were an issue at all from me. I really weren't. Both Elam and Cam need to go, and can we please sign Javon Holland? So, first of all, that's his joke. He always says cut Cam. Cam actually made a great special teams play. Yep. Let's talk about Elam a little bit. Look, yep. Elam's been inactive. You've had this guy inactive for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I don't know. Like, we're always wondering what the hell's going on. He gets in, and he gets flagged for that face mask, and that's a questionable face mask. I will say that for sure. But I can see why the ref might have called it. And they pick on him for a couple drives, maybe 2 drives. But then things changed. It wasn't Kyrie Elam's fault. I felt like whatever the Bills defense did started to work. They did a pretty damn good job in the second half, especially getting, like I said, 2 stops, back-to-back stops to start the second half. And then they get the huge stop, forced the Chiefs to kick a field goal. And this is it, Cody. This is what you'd want as a Bills fan. It's what I said. This is our opportunity to change history. This is it. You got the ball with all the time. We've talked about it. We said it multiple times. It's what you want. What you want. You want the ball in Josh Allen's hands. You want that with 3 timeouts. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, we can't seem to get that done. And I put that on coaching in that particular scenario. I do. I feel like Spags dialed up again. He's a magician. And Brady, I can't blame McDermott for dialing up the calls. It's Brady who dialed up those calls. So I don't know. I don't know what your thought on that. And let me get Brett in here as you talk about that.
Yeah, going back to Elam a little bit there, I do think, I don't think he was picked on as much in the second half, and I do think he kind of started to get a little bit better. But man, those first 2-3 drives, whenever they were putting Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy on him, I mean, he was bailing out 10 yards deep to not be beat over the top and anything underneath, and then run after the catch too. He wasn't even making, the plays there. It really was a big swing of probably about 14 points that you had the injury there and had to put Elam in that game. And that's a pretty big swing whenever you do that. I mean, sure, they still could have scored if you don't have a backup playing there, but it really felt like there was a good momentum shift in that late first, second quarter whenever that happened. And, a lot of points came in that small window whenever he was being picked on pretty heavily. So it's tough, and you can't blame the injuries and anything. And you would like to probably see some sort of like better better scheme. You knew he was questionable coming into the game. I don't know what the practice regimen looked like leading into the week, but you would think you might have somewhat of a better plan in place to try to attack that if anything were to happen, or if he was just ruled out of the game to begin with. And it was a pretty rough start for him. He did settle in, but it was a tough loss to lose that guy in the secondary there.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There was a shift, a momentum shift when that happened, but they made the adjustments. And like you said, in the second half, they stopped picking on him, or he just was doing better. He got his feet under him. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him for this game because he's been inactive so often for the Bills. And they throw him in at the most crucial time. And again, they're up, Cody, 22-21. The Bills are up with the foot on the gas pedal, fourth and inches. And Brett, you're joining us here. Um, how you doing? And what do you want to say? You've heard us talking in the green room. What do you got to say? And hold
Yeah,
on. Brian Label, thank you so much for the support with the super chat. They played a tough game. Bills are like a bad girlfriend, keeps breaking your heart, but we keep coming back, and we'll keep coming back, Brian. We'll keep coming back. Sure felt special, man. It felt special, and yeah, I felt that obviously this was the best chance the Bills had in some time, and that team could have won that game. There was definitely right there for them, right there for the taking. Brett, sorry, man. What do you want to say? Thank you, Brian.
listen, I'm gonna say this right now. Hats off to Kansas City. They're a well-coached team. They have some very good playmakers on both sides of the ball. They played outstanding, to be honest with you. They did everything that they needed to win the game, and hats off to them. I wish them all the best going forward. They're going to be a tough team, and hopefully they can three-peat. And I'm disappointed in how the Bills played. Obviously, not the result that we wanted, but this is a team that's very resilient, and I know that we'll get back into the playoffs next year and try and make some noise. But there's a lot that needs to come down the line about what to build on from this game. There's some growing pains that we're going to go through, and it sucks. Don't get me wrong, but this is a team that is right there. They're still within that Super Bowl window. Anytime that you have Josh Allen, you're in the Super Bowl window. But there's some areas that the Bills need to grow on. I felt like as a fan, the Bills got outcoached in this game 100%. There was some plays that I think that Joe Brady would definitely want back, and I think there's some plays that Sean McDermott and Bobby Babich will definitely want back. But as a fan, listen, I'm going to say this. Hats off to the Chiefs. They're a better team. They've been there before. They've been in those moments. They know what to do, and I wish them all the best going forward.
Yeah, Brian, love it. Love this. At my funeral, I want 6 Buffalo Bills as pallbearers to let me down one last time. Man, that's brutal. It's hard to believe Elam was a first round pick, says RX Fly Fishing. The crazy thing about Elam, he's got 4.38 speed. The dude is quick. So I know he was going to get up against some speedsters, and I don't know. Again, I'm not going to put this on him. RX Fly Fishing. He's been inactive, and I feel like Bills have tried to change his game a little bit. He was a press man. He's very good at press, but whatever reason, like Cody was saying, he's like 10 yards lined up back from the receiver. That's an easy pitch and catch from Mahomes. And then, of course, the receiver can make a move if he has to. But again, they fixed that. They fixed it. So let's not fixate on this. We had the chance to win the game twice, up 22-1, couldn't get a 4th and inches, and with the ball in our hand last drive of the game. I do want to say, yeah, Jorge, I know if you've been around as long as me, you start to grow, you start to be able to tolerate a little more. But I got to tell you, man, this one's brutal for me. It's absolutely brutal. Had the family around, was really hoping to, have my son there, my young 12-year-old who was supporting me like he was a diehard Bills fan. And he was. He's actually always said, "Hey, Dad, my team's out. I'm all Buffalo." And he's holding my hand. We're all holding hands, man. That's how we do in this family. We're holding hands. I like to rub the kids' heads for a little luck. We had the dog dressed up in her Buffalo Bills gear, but just wasn't to be. And let's see. So, Jorge, I feel you, man. I really do feel you. You think it gets easier, but in this one, it doesn't. Let's see here. What you got there, Cody?
It is tough. I mean, every single year, 31 teams are going to go home with a stale taste in their mouth, and only one actually, ends up with happiness. It's a brutal game that we sign up for as fans to continuously. I mean, odds are you're going to be heartbroken for 20 years straight, unless you're the Chiefs apparently or the Patriots of last decade. It's a brutal game that we sign ourselves up for, and we devote all of this fandom to, and it's still love it and still go back to it every single time. But it is terrible whenever the finality and the reality kind of sets in for it every single year, because there's only one team that actually comes away happy at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like for you, I don't know. I'll have to look. I'll have to look snap count. I didn't see Cam out there a lot on defense today, so I'll have to check it out. I knew this was going to come up. And Brett, I'll throw it to you first. There's two people right here. Jorge saying, yes, coach, and it's time to move on from McDermott. And then Wump Donkey's just more asking the question, is it time to move on from McDermott or no? Personally, I'm bored with it, but who's out there? As always, go Bills. What's your thoughts on that, Brett? I knew it was going to be brought up if we lost that game.
Yeah, it's going to be brought up anytime that McDermott has a questionable play or something like that happens or we lose. I mean, at this stage in life, we've rolled with McDermott for a long time. I think we have to roll it back next year with McDermott. It's not a question for me. Who else is out there? I mean, do you want to go after a Mike McCarthy, or do you want to promote from within and go after Joe Brady and have him be a first-year coach? I don't think that either one of those scenarios are good for Buffalo. I feel like the best man that leads the charge is McDermott. He does a good job overall. He has command of the team. He's very liked in the locker room. And if he were to go anywhere else, he would become a head coach from wherever. I don't even know what teams have opportunities out there still. I know that Jacksonville just filled theirs just a couple days ago, but I don't think there's anybody out there that has a head coaching vacancy besides the Saints. So if he were to go out there and be a head coach, he would be with the Saints. That's about it. But I think you have to stick with Sean McDermott and just roll with him for another year. If we don't have a good year next year, then we move on and we find our next head coach. But we missed the opportunity in this head coaching pool. I'm sorry, for our chance to get another head coach.
As an unbiased person, Cody, watching this game, is there anything you would put on McDermott in this game?
Not knowing exactly what McDermott, how much control he has. The only thing that I would maybe go to, and I don't know if he has control over it, y'all might be able to tell me a little bit better, is just some of the decision making within like going for it on the 2-point conversions, going for some of those fourth downs. If that's up to him, like there's some of those that I probably would either look to kick field goals or maybe punt the ball. And then within the play calling as well, I assume that Joe Brady has full control over that, so you can't really put the play calling, especially within those goal to go scenarios, on him. And that's really where I thought like most of the blame that I would actually put anything on the Bills coaching staff for was in those decisions. So if he doesn't have that, I don't think there's really anything to go for. And I don't think you can move on from McDermott. Like it's a grass is always greener on the other side thing. And you're completely resetting a culture that has still continued to get you to this point. I think it's a very good, structure that you all have in place. It's kind of like the Cowboys and Philly is even calling for their head coach halfway through the year. Now they're in the damn Super Bowl again. So I don't think you can really move on because I don't kind of like to Brett's point. I don't know what's better out there either for him or for the Bills at this point of the coaching cycle right now. You keep getting back to AFC championship games and keep losing. And eventually, kind of like a Cowboys thing of you keep getting to the playoffs and first round bounces. The Pittsburgh Steelers are kind of dealing with this right now. But what else are you going to do to completely reset the culture to get you one game in a fourth quarter with 3 minutes to go? Like that's not coaching. Coaching got you to that point, and I would continue to ride with that coaching.
Yeah, I blame it on, just like said, the execution on that 4th and 1. Execute. You got to execute. This is the one timeline. Bully it up, and maybe switch it up and go right once. Go right, but they didn't execute. And I'm no way will you hear me say fire McDermott. No, I'm not going to say it. He got you to a championship game. I love how McDermott keeps this team. They're very disciplined. So again, for this, Again, I put it on. This one's on the team for me. Execution on that fourth and inches, and then of course maybe Brady on that final drive. That's it. Let's see here. Bills have so much going for them, and you're right, Brian. First of all, you tell me I had 3:33 with 3 timeouts to go to win this game down by 3. This is what you would wish for. Obviously, we all wish for a blowout, but I'm like, okay, we got the ball. This is what Pat Mahomes does so well. Gets the ball back with 2-3 minutes left, goes down, scores, and wins the game. Or touchdown wins the game. This is what you expected. This is it. You could see it. This is our time. We didn't make it happen. And then I agree, Brian. So much more. So much going for them next year, right? I don't know where we are with the cap, Brett. I think we cleared a lot of that up this year. Hopefully, we're in a pretty good place. And you could go multiple places. I mean, the O line is rock solid, and I think we're locked up there. We're good. You can look at maybe adding maybe a speedster, someone to get you over the top a little bit more. But you can go D line. Obviously, I would love to see just a bigger, stout guy to pair up with Ed Oliver, and then maybe an edge rusher. So many places they can go. So yeah, the future looks bright once again. And I really sucked to see Benford with another concussion. Yeah, he was questionable, maybe pushed it, but yeah, it was sad that again, our own player, they collided, and even with but Damar having that cushioned helmet couldn't help it, man. It was sad to see him go. Jake, thank you for joining us, my friend.
Brutal, guys.
Brutal. We're all feeling it right now. Talk to me, catch up. Tell me your feelings. Who's to blame in your opinion? Where did it go wrong?
Tough night in the Padre house. Let me tell you that. It was a lot of celebrating, a lot of upset screams, and woke the 2 kids up. So, well, Maxie never actually was sleeping, so there was that too. She was actually my good luck charm for a little bit. But yeah, here we are. Let's recap the game a little bit. God, it's just so close, but so far away, right? It's I feel like we do this every year, guys, and I get it. I think a lot of people are going to be very critical in this moment, going to be calling for Sean McDermott's head, and I already see Dave Portnoy putting out a post saying the ref should be in prison and Sean McDermott should be in prison for not knowing how to run a tush push, and it's just frustrating. And I get it. We were never supposed to be here, right? But I felt like this was the most beatable Chiefs team. And with how well the Bills had been playing this year and pulling out these close games and beating the teams that we were supposed to beat and, make these statement wins. I was so calm going into this game. And, God, it was the total opposite throughout the entire course of it. Just so frustrating, man. Just shattered. Heartbroken again.
But Jake, how do you blame McDermott for an execution of a touch push? Are you kidding me?
And that's just it, right? Like I can't, right? And maybe it's even more Joe Brady because the way you line it up, like maybe you don't put. And I love Reggie Gilliam. Don't get me wrong, right? But don't get me wrong, it was working when we go to the left, but when it doesn't work 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row, I mean, shoot, put some freaking mammoths behind you and just get up under center. Josh is big enough and he has the long enough arms to stretch over. I know it's dangerous, but you have to do something different. Just run it the proper way. I don't know if it was us just being stubborn, saying this is our version of the tush push, but God, even if one of those plays you fake a handoff, you boot out to the right. I mean, the Chiefs were selling inside, right? They were going for that play, right? They knew it was going to be a sneak or a run or something inside. Maybe you just switch it up one of those times and you hand it to or fake it to James Cook and do a boot to the right. It's a first down. There's no questions asked. Incredibly frustrating. I think some of it has to fall on Joe Brady. Also James Cook, what a day he had. I don't understand why we stopped utilizing him in the second half specifically. I mean, James Cook was cooking.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We did this in the second half against the Ravens, and sure, we almost lost the game because we were playing too conservative, but we got carried away in this game and we just totally abandoned it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, for me, that was the tush push. Obviously, we're up 22-21. We're
Yeah.
driving. You get that first down, you continue to drive, and hopefully you score, and then really, put the neck, put your foot on their neck, right?
Yep.
And you're up by 8. They're gonna have to score just to tie you. They're gonna have to get a 2-pointer. But then, Jake, you get the ball back with over 3 minutes and 3 timeouts. You had just made a crucial stop to force them to a field goal. That's what you'd ask for. So again, that's not McDermott running that. What's going with those plays out there? That's
Right.
Brady and the execution of the plays. So again, I don't know. I know Zach comes out here. He doesn't join us much very often, but once in a while, after the end of every season, he comes out there with his Bills got out coached again. Needed to fire McD 4 years ago. And I will say this, Jake. I mean, Spags did it again. I do think he outcoached us. But I think that was Spags against Brady in that case. And, Spags is probably going to win majority of the time there.
Yeah, surprisingly, it was like the defense actually got a really good stop at the end there.
Yeah.
And, man, you just got to execute. It's execution. It comes down to the execution. And, I mean, it just didn't do it. Didn't get it done. And I'll tell you what, it was a tough catch to make, but Dalton Kincaid's got to come up with that too. I mean, Josh gave him a chance. Hit his hands, I mean, come on now.
It is
horrible.
It is. I can't put it on him, but dude, we were talking about that earlier. Like most of us, going back to our school days, our schoolyard football days, or you in college and high school, you're like, that's an easy catch. It's an easy catch. Yeah. But Cody, mentioned it. Like he's coming back for the ball. There's players all over. Again, though, you gotta make that play.
Yeah.
But what's with the tight ends the last couple of weeks? Baltimore's Mark Andrews, and now I think Kincaid had 2 drops in this game. That one, and I think there was one other one.
There was one in the first half as well on a out route, about 10 yards.
That's right.
For a first down that he just right in the hands and dropped it as well. It was a pretty rough day for him, just specifically with those 2 that were pretty big momentum changers, and obviously the one end of game.
Yeah, Rick, our good Ravens friend here, he says Matt Elam was a first round pick too. Don't draft Elams.
His uncle.
Yeah, you might have missed it, Jake. Look, I said the Bills inactivate Kaiir Elam for at least the last 4 or 5 games of the year. Not getting any play time. Surprisingly, they activated him, but then when they had been bringing up somebody else the whole time, so they activate him. They put him in, and yeah, they bullied him a little bit. They picked on him for 2 series, and I feel like they got that cleaned up in the second half. I'm not blaming Kaiir. He had maybe a rough 2 series, getting his feet under him again, but they made adjustments, and I don't know what it is with Kaiir. I said the face mask is questionable, but I can see why the ref would call it. But I don't think it was a tug or anything. Even the ref on the broadcast said he didn't think it was one. And then he got called for the holding or pass interference. I forget. That's classic Kaiir. But still, they cleaned that up. Not blaming that Kaiir at all, because Bills had their opportunity in the second half.
I do like what Steve says here. Yeah, I definitely agree on that. This is one of those games. I mean, you can go back to like 13 seconds in some of these other games where you can maybe put a lot of the blame on Sean McDermott, right? But like, this one was a lot of that. It was executing when you needed it most, and it just did not happen. Like, if there's any coach to really take some heat, I think offensively, it should be Joe Brady, right? I mean, I'm not saying he called a horrendous game or anything like that, but there were things that he did in this where it's like, okay, that's an inexperienced offensive coordinator, I just, the execution though, again, like even though the call, I think he made the right call in doing a tush push, right? But you have to do it the right way, and again, maybe one of those, you fake it, maybe you do a fake handoff and you boot to the right and, nice play action, they bite on it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I get it. The defense couldn't stop a nosebleed at times, but at the end there, they made a crucial stop, and there's no reason why this offense and how this team is played, there's no reason why they shouldn't go down and at least get 3 out of it. It's horrible.
Yeah. That's what as a Bills fan, I knew this was going to be a close game. Like, who's going to have the ball last with an opportunity to win? We had it. And we didn't even have to feel good to tie. We have an opportunity to win. And there's just no excuse for it. Chad, thank you so much. What a great game, guys. Hell of a season. Questions. Do you think the interviews for head coach positions distracted Joe Brady from scheming for the game? I hate when offensive coordinators in DC's interview before big games. Jake, what's your thoughts there?
I think it could be a bit of a distraction. Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Chad, by the way. Hey, congratulations to you guys. Tip of the cap. I mean, really, I think the biggest thing I've realized throughout this whole run, this playoff run, is how freaking hard it is to get to a Super Bowl. And the fact that the Chiefs have gone to 3. I mean, you could say all you want about the refs and whatnot, but in clutch moments, they have dialed up a play to outsmart the other team and to execute in the proper manner. So, say what you want about the refs bailing them out, this, that, and other, but God, man, they're good in clutch moments, and you guys play at your best in the biggest moments. Going to your question here, I think there is certainly a bit of a distraction. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that all head coaching positions and everything should be put on hold. There should not be any hiring or anything like that, any interviewing until after the season is done, at the conclusion of the Super Bowl. Then that can all start. I feel like it puts teams at an unfair advantage too. I mean, you have teams that have already hired their coaches 3 weeks ago, right? So to me, I feel like it's one of those things where every team should start at a blank slate Monday after the Super Bowl. And that's that. So great question, though.
Yeah, that's a great call. Cody, what do you think on this question?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely it takes away a little bit of your time from what I've gathered, at least from like just listening to people who have done these and doing interviews on random sports media shows. Like typically the ones that are still in it, they actually just kind of like ask them about what their game plan is for the upcoming week and like how they're preparing and stuff. Like that's kind of their interview, at least with some teams. Obviously, if you're interviewing for like the Dallas Cowboys, there's probably going to be a little bit of a different interview process for that one. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to take away a little bit from your mentality whenever you're doing that. But truthfully, for me, like I think you probably carve out like those 3-4 hours, whatever that interview length is. And then as long as you're a good head coach, and I do think Joe Brady is a very good, or as long as you're a good coach, I do think Joe Brady is a very good coach. You should be able to flip your brain right back to, okay, we're right back into game mode. And he did remove himself from consideration yesterday as well for all of those. So he wasn't, yesterday, I don't know what interviews or anything or any lingering in the mind would have done to him. Maybe there were some contract negotiations behind the scenes that they were dealing with as well, potentially. But I don't think it's too big of a distraction to say that like that's a reason why there was a lack of game calling specifically within this game. I do think that it is an issue. The problem that I see going forward, if you try to fix it, if you try to push everything back to the end of the season, then we're already at Shrine Bowls this week. Like Shrine Bowl's already started, Senior Bowl's already started. You got the Combine coming up in just a couple of weeks. So like it is an unfair advantage, but if you're playing this long into the season, at least your team is a little bit decent. You're at a disadvantage because your team is good. I just think timing wise, it's just kind of like what the NCAA is dealing with their transfer portal windows and, eligible to, go to a different school because you have to enroll in the school because of different windows. The timing sucks of it all, but it kind of is the way it is. But no, I don't think it's going to affect him too much within the game, but it's obviously there.
Yeah. And talking about switching things up, what about like when the Chiefs, and they had at least 1 or 2 fourth down plays as well, at a critical one, and they take a timeout to talk about it. What's Mahomes do? It's like the Bills forgot that Mahomes can run. He takes the snap and he quickly runs to the right, gets the first down. It's like they always have the right play, no matter the situation, and that's where we failed. And it's like Jake. I mean, I was thinking to myself, finally, Milano finally makes a great play. It's like, why is nobody caring about Mahomes running? He's gonna do it. We've seen him do it. I was going nuts. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Greg Rousseau, first off, was getting killed on contain today. I mean, he was crashing down way too hard every time. So he did not have a good game today whatsoever. I will say that straight up. I felt like he played awful. It was maybe his worst game of the season. So I will let that be known. It was frustrating. And, he was getting rid of the ball quickly too. So I get it. It's hard to get pass rush when a guy's getting rid of the football quickly. But also, you guys, at certain points here, you got to make a play too. So But yeah, with the contain on and Patty Mahomes, I mean, put a spy on him, do something, right? Because like he was absolutely killing us with his legs today, and I think people forget like he's a little shifty himself at times too. And he makes magic happen, and he did today. It's for damn sure. But yeah, where was Terrell Bernard today too? I mean, Matt Milano had some nice plays, but where was Terrell Bernard? I mean, I didn't see any Terrell Bernard. That was puzzling.
I don't know. I mean, look, they did we talked about this before the game. We were worried about Kelsey. Kelsey had 4 targets, 2 catches for 19 yards. I don't know who got that responsibility. It felt like they weren't looking his way, and I don't know if that's because the defense was shutting him down. Maybe we'll have to look at the film, but
they did a good job.
Mean, they did a decent job there, right? Worthy, they like to dial it up for Worthy when he plays the Bills. I don't know what it is. They know that the Bills traded down and let the Chiefs get Worthy, and they like to kind of throw that in our face. But he had a nice game, 6 for 85 and a touchdown. But everyone else was, I mean, the most anyone had was 3 catches, 2 catches, and when you keep Kelsey, who went off for over 100 yards last game, to 2 catches for 19 yards, you've done a pretty good job.
Absolutely.
It was just whenever they needed a clutch play. I mean, let me get the rush in here. Pat Mahomes ran the ball 11 times for 43 yards and 2 touchdowns. There you go. Josh Allen ran the ball 11 times for 39 yards, 0 touchdowns. The Bills, all in all, had a better run game. Of course, we expected that. I expected the Bills to be able to take advantage of the run game, and they kind of did what Baltimore did last week in the third quarter. Like, we're going back to what works, and they did that. And the Bills were just killing it on the ground in that third quarter. But like you said, maybe got away from it in the fourth.
Yeah. It's frustrating, man. I'll tell you. I sat there in agony for quite some time. As well. Here's the thing too. Like, even though we lose this game, right? I mean, we lose by 3 points, and we had so many every opportunity in the world to win this game. I think that's what really kills me the most. And it's a couple plays that really just flip the whole script, right? It's comes down to execution, little bit of luck, sure, call it as you may. But like I said, great teams have to beat the refs too. So you can't put everything on that.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, are there calls that you're like questioning, Jay? Because I thought it was pretty well rough game.
I thought it was up. I mean, I think the 4th and 1, absolutely. Josh Allen had a first down there. Your rule forward progress call that a first down. Like, that's crazy to me. I also felt like that Cole Bishop / who was it, Xavier Worthy or Marquise Brown, the catch there, the interception should have just been an incomplete pass. So I felt like those 2 calls definitely were. I mean, they reviewed both of them, and then they still stayed with those calls. So I guess it has to be undisputed what you call on the field. You have to see enough evidence to go against it. So I get it, but definitely took some air out of the balloon, no doubt.
There was two refs that spotted it differently, which was crazy to me. And I guess I don't know who has the overruling job there, but one guy marked him short, one guy marked him with the first down, and then it looked like they went with the ref that marked him short. And in that play, and when that was called, I knew right away they weren't gonna reverse it. I don't know what's the rule there. Like, was that the what do they call the main referee? What's he called?
So the head official. So the head official basically. So he ruled it as a catch on the field, right? So you have to then, when you're reviewing it, you have to see enough evidence that is not a catch.
Well, I'm talking about the tush push.
Oh, the tush push. They sorry.
Spotted it differently.
The spotting, yes.
One judge had it first down, one judge had it short. And they obviously went with whoever had it short, and they go to replay. Cody, you got something on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just going to be, as far as I'm aware, it's just a conversation between the 2 line judges of where they're going to spot that ball once they get off the field. The problem that I have with that, and I'm with you, like it was clearly a first down, even on video review. Like, I actually think that's one of the few times you could potentially actually overturn a spot challenge, or not a challenge, but a spot review. That looked pretty damn clear that it was over the line. But the problem that I have with it is they went with the line judge who was looking at Josh Allen's back and did not have a visual of the ball. The line judge, who was the further up judge, who originally had the first down was the judge who had a vision, had a sight line to the ball. And then whenever they got together, they still overruled and moved it back, maybe out of just an abundance of like caution type of thing. I don't know how that conversation went between those two, but from what I understand, yeah, it's just a conversation between the two line judges and they go with whichever one they come out of that conversation with. And obviously they went with the short one. And because it was short, the play stood instead of being overturned, which is an unfortunate circumstance because he was obviously over the line.
Yeah. Killer.
Or at least on it. Yeah. And that's what my son was saying. Dad, this is a first down. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's not going to be. I just knew it. Had a feeling. Bills with the ball, 333, Casey, and chance to win. This is what you want. Yeah, Brian, this is exactly. I said the same thing. This is exactly what you want. The chance with the ball in your hand at the end of the game. You have the ball. You can go down, score a touchdown, win this game. Worst case, you kick a field goal, force it in overtime. Couldn't even get that done.
Yeah, it's a killer. Absolute killer.
Yeah,
there were a couple of drives too, by the way, where it was like, man, you look at some of these offensive possessions, it seemed like every other possession, it was just either a 3 and out or just a poor overall drive, very frustrating. Yeah.
Rick has a good point. Rick says, can you imagine if Worthy was out there running routes for all y'all instead of Keen Coleman? I was getting upset with the little, let's go for the 50-50 balls with Keen Coleman. This Chiefs secondary is very good. And they tried that at least 3 times, and it just didn't work. I mean, did he even get a catch here? Let's see. What does he have? 1 catch for 12 yards, 4 targets for Coleman. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it would have played out, but yeah, it would have been nice to have that speedster out there. I'll say that much. But I'm not going to blame this on Coleman either. But I feel like the play calling or Josh's decision to just chuck it downfield looking for these 50-50 balls was not the best of decisions.
Unless it's to Mac Hollins, then it's a good decision.
Dude,
I'll tell you what, he's legit.
I love Mac Hollins.
Yeah, right?
I said this to start the show. Jake, he's quickly become, I think I said he went on last show, one of my favorites. What a friggin' catch. First of all, great throw. Great throw and a big momentum shifter right before half. But he drops it. And that was no easy catch. I'll tell you what, 9 out of 10 times a receiver is dropping that ball and not making that play. Perfect throw. Perfect concentration. Great catch by Matt Collins. And then he made another huge one. The guy makes plays, dude. Makes plays. He does whatever's asked of him. No complaints whatsoever. Sign this man and let's keep him on for at least 3 years. Please get him back.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny too, Chad. He wears number 13 just like Gabe Davis did too. So kind of wild. Yeah.
That's what Jonah was calling him. Dad, that's Gabe Davis 2.0. Said no, he's better than Gabe Davis.
Great blocker too. I mean, everything about it. Yeah, I think that's what hurts most to Brian Dable. Good to see you out there, sir. Yeah. Thanks for coming to our therapy session. Cody, thanks also for joining us too tonight. I know I kind of came in here. I'm a little sour. I'm frustrated about it. It hurts. It definitely hurts, but I appreciate you, man. You're helping. You're definitely helping.
Whatever I can. It was seriously the most stressful game that I have watched that I've not been a fan of. And I was definitely a fan. Like y'all brought me along a little bit on this ride. So appreciate it for that, because that was seriously, outside of it just being a great game, just in general of outside watching, but I definitely had a very large vested interest in it. And that was the most stressed out I've ever been watching a football team that wasn't my own.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chad, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you do it, but sometimes it might be for the better. I mean, you consider what you see visually as compared to what you hear. I don't know. I almost feel like that'd be more stressful just listening to the audio version of it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I joked before this game. I was like, maybe I'm going to take a sleeping pill and just sleep through it. I don't know if I can take it. I'll wake up and I'll find out who lost. I think that would be a little bit better than seeing how it actually transpired on the ground or in the game, right? Seeing how we missed some key opportunities. But yeah, painful. I don't know how you do it either, Chad. And then Rick says, wish we could just fast forward to January 26th. We already know it's going to come down to KC, Buffalo, Baltimore again. Let's run it back again as soon as possible. I love that.
That's Rick. Just it, though, Rick. It's so frustrating because so much can change in a year, man. Yeah. Like, you'll never see this version of our teams again. And I think that's the the part that really makes you a little sad as a fan too, like, not all these guys are going to return next year. And we came so far, and man, every opportunity in the world to win this one, and just still couldn't put it together. Yeah, and a lot of things did go our way in this one too. I mean, there were 5 total fumbles in this game, and I think the Bills recovered every single one of them. So whether it was our own or the opponents.
Well, we won the turnover battle, 1-0.
Yeah,
again.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's just, you feel like you almost do everything in your power to win it, and you still lose it. And at the end of the day, the harsh reality is we are still a step behind Kansas City, and we couldn't get it done. Sucks. It's a killer.
Yeah, you mentioned James Cook, man. 13 for 85 yards, averaging 6.5 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Even in the air, 3 for 49, 16.3 average per reception.
Yeah.
Utilize him. Did he even touch the ball in the final drive? Let me bring it up here. Let's go through this final brutal drive of the Bills. Let's go through it. Let's relive it again. See if going over it helps. Let's go through it. There we go. Downs. It was a 6-play drive. So interesting. They start the series with a handoff to Ty Johnson for a loss of -1. Where's James Cook? Where the hell is he?
I don't understand why Ty Johnson got so many first and second down runs, and it just not even runs, but just snaps in general. It was weird the entire game.
Yeah.
So 2nd and 11, Josh Allen finally his feet. I mean, they did a great job on Josh Allen shutting him down from running the ball. They put spies on him. They knew they had it dialed in. Josh wasn't doing too much, but this was a chance. This was a place where he did. 2nd and 11, he takes off for 13 yards. Beautiful. 1st and 10. 1st and 10, 2:25 left in the game, 3 timeouts. We're at the Buffalo 42. We decide to throw the ball. No James Cook. Where's the handoff to James Cook? Keep it going. Right? And as incomplete pass to Khalil Shakir. By the way, I thought Khalil had a really good game. But incomplete pass. 2nd and 10. Josh Allen, incomplete, short, middle to Curtis Samuel. Was that the one? So there was one play, and I think it was Curtis Samuel was going to get tagged for a drop. But, dude, it was a poor throw.
Daylight.
Let's just say poor throw. And if he catches that ball without losing his feet, he's gone. Dude, there was nobody there. He's going for 30, 40 yards. I don't know if that was that play. It might have been earlier. But anyhow, here we are, 2nd and 10. Josh Allen, incomplete pass to Curtis Samuel. 3rd and 10. Josh Allen, short pass to Amari Cooper for 5 yards. It was good to see Cooper get in that game. He made some nice plays. And then 4th and 5. Incomplete pass deep to Dalton Kincaid. So
it was a great blitz call too, by the way, by Spags on that. I mean,
but you got to know he's bringing the pressure, Jake. The thing with him that makes him so frustrating, you don't know where it's coming from.
That's
it. You would think the Bills would have had something planned, like evaluate. Like I think it was the corner, right? Then the corner come out.
And never in your right mind in that situation on 4th and 5 would you think it's a corner blitz of everything, so
well disguised. Like you watch the replay back of that, and there's no tell that he's hot on that side. I don't know how you check out of that one or check coverage or check protection over to that side. It was beautiful play call by Spags.
Right. Yeah.
The playoffs, Brandon B. The playoffs are like a chess game because whatever the move you make can make you win or lose a game 100%. Question for you from Rick, Jake. I would love to hear your thoughts on the 3rd and 10 play at the end. Wide receiver screen to Cooper, too conservative, take two shots past the chains.
I don't love the screen call in that sense. I understand, it's 4 down territory regardless, right? So no matter what you're going for it on 4th down. So I get it. You want to gain a few yards back, right? You want to get some quick chunk yards. But the screen call, I didn't love. I mean, I think you should have ran a lot more crossers in this game. I felt like that was effective. And, we had opportunities. You talked about the Curtis Samuel play early on that we really missed on. I felt like that should have been done more often in this game. And if you're going to do anything there, you do some crossers. I hated the screen call there. Yeah, not about that whatsoever. And you just abandoned running the football on that drive. And by the way, James Cook not even really in the game at that point. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. So we'll look back at that one. Why?
Yeah.
It's not like you got 3 minutes, 33 seconds, I think, and 3 timeouts. Why? Bring and don't get me wrong. I love our running backs, but at that crucial time, you should have your top running back in the game. I think the only concern, I think they had planned to throw the ball, which they did. And I don't think Cook is one of the best pass blockers as far as our running backs go. But honestly, run the ball, man. Run the ball first down. Run it on second. Keep those short, the third down short opportunities for us and convert those. But not the case. So that's a big question mark. We're going to be talking about that one for a while.
16 touches for James Cook in this game. I feel like if he had 25 touches in this game, it's the other way around, and we're probably winning this ball game. Frustrating.
Let's see here, Brian. Yeah, let's talk about this. Someone needs to write a book about how to deal with your team losses. I mean, it's gut-wrenching at times. Not sure if it's healthy. Good show topic. People won't show up for work tomorrow.
That's right.
I joked about if we lost this game, I might be looking into my insurance and taking a medical leave. I'm still considering it, but unfortunately, not unfortunately, I love my job, so I think I will be working tomorrow, but from home. Well, from home.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair. What about you, Jake? Do you have to go in tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going in tomorrow. You know what? The good news is we are right down the road from One Bills Drive, and everyone at my workplace, more or less, is a big diehard Bills fan, right? So we can all get through it together and mourn together.
Yeah. Brian, I don't want to. I brought your comment up there, and I agree with you. Someone does need to write a book. It'd be a great show topic because, Brian, I don't know exactly how old you are. I don't know if you went through those 90 losses, but for those, I know Steve out there in the chat went through those Super Bowl losses, and we can talk about how that forever changed. Like, I know it changed me at some point. I was like, I can't let football do this to me. Still hurts really, really bad. But back then, oh my God, you guys just don't know what it would do to me. So I think it would be a great book. And great conversation and great show for sure. I agree with you. Steve, Joe Brady took his name out of the hat for a reason. He knows he is not ready, and that's fine. McD gets another year with some solid coordinators. Yeah, definitely love that, Steve. Great point. We're happy to have him back. We're happy to have him back. And again, he gets another, second time going against Spags in back-to-back playoffs. Third time, I think, right? We played him in the regular season. Spags, can he either just retire or can we get someone to hire him as a head coach? But I guess he doesn't want. He's happy. Why would he? Why would he want to leave if he's making good money, loves where he is, and he's obviously one of the best DCs ever.
That's just it too. Our coaches aren't bad. Theirs are just better, and they're built for these moments. I don't know. That's the thing, too. Everyone's saying, and I get it, Zach. I understand where you're coming from. This is my brother-in-law. I get it. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, right? But who would you replace Sean McDermott with? That's the real question, too. It's
he's going to say,
and he's probably going to say anyone. I get it.
He's going to say
that really is the question. I don't know who I replace him with. And you can look at these college coaches and the sexy names out there, but when you go from coordinator to head coach or head coach in college to head coach in the NFL, it's so different. So different. And like these critical coaching moments become that much bigger. So, and yeah, Marcus Freeman, sure, that's a great name, but like he even struggled with Notre Dame at times. Like coaching decisions were an issue with him at points, so you're not going to get it perfect. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy. He's had plenty of moments here. He's had a lot of opportunities. And I know there's probably someone else out there that can get it done. I do want to know, like, who is your guy and stick with that guy, I don't know.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah. Bills are the only team that went to 4 Super Bowls, lost them in a row, but didn't win. It happens now. The KC can be the first team that wins 3 Super Bowls in a row.
That's a killer. I know.
And then look at Rick saying, replace Jim. Replace him with John Harbaugh. You want to swap Rick McDermott for Harbaugh? Again, I'm not putting this on McDermott at all. I'm not, and the team loves him. Imagine replacing him. This guy's going to come in. He knows nothing about our coordinators. This team got to the championship, and they had every opportunity here to win this game. And I don't put any of this game on him. I know you're out there saying it, but come on. This is execution and some on the offense here. The defense, they did their job. You could say, yeah, they were marching down pretty easily in some cases, but they made 2 key stops to start the second half, got the team back in the game. The Bills took the lead. And we're driving 22-21. Couldn't execute a touch push. And it wasn't a yard, Jake. It was not a yard. It was inches. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not even a yard. Come on now.
The failures today definitely. I think you almost expected the defense to we're slightly decimated in our secondary right now. Taylor Rapp wasn't playing in this game. Christian Benford goes out early. We're down and out at the cornerback and safety position a little bit, right? We have a rookie in Cole Bishop who I like, promising, made some rookie mistakes, certainly, but you'd expect it to weigh more on the defense, with this game. And I felt like they tightened up a little bit there in the second half, and they did make enough stops to give the offense a chance. And multiple times the offense just could not execute. And it's beyond frustrating because I think we all know that the offense is better than what they put out there today. And even so, they still made some good plays, and it's just frustrating. I don't know.
Ryan says, by the way, I'm a Notre Dame grad, so I'm dealing with loss in the national championship.
Oh, that's brutal, man. You and Trek, yeah.
Because of the Bills' history and the community's hope for a Super Bowl win. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. For me, as I get older and older, you're just like, man, you don't know how many more years you got left. I was like, can I see one? And I lost many family members who were diehard Bills fans, and it would have been great for them to have seen it. My mom's getting up there in age, and she was here. It was actually pretty special. I had my mom, my in-laws, and again, we were just, holding hands and hoping. The whole fourth quarter, I think we held hands the whole time. It's like, let's go. And it looked like it could happen. But again, being a Bills fan, Jake, the curse is still there. Damn it. Cody,
I haven't released that curse video yet. Yeah.
Cody, have you heard about the curse?
Which I don't know if I'm aware.
It's basically a curse. Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres have number one a championship, and there's a lot that goes into the curse. I'm not going to get into it right now. Jake has been working on a curse video. He put it on pause because he thought this was the year, and if we won, the curse had been broken. No reason to put that curse video back out there. But there's a lot of we built the stadium on burial grounds. Having the buffalo as the logo, things like that. And there's more to it as well.
The stadium was built on an Indian burial ground, so the new stadium is going right across the street, also on a former Indian burial ground. So, not doing ourselves any favors there. Then we make the logo a buffalo, right? The Buffalo Bills, and one of the sacred animals for the Indian tribe. I know Iroquois tribe is huge here in Buffalo, right? So that's one of them. But I know that the sacred animal is the buffalo. So that's where the root of the curse begins. But then you look at all of our devastating losses, never winning a Super Bowl, and all of these different historical things that have happened in playoff games and big time moments. And gosh, here we are still reliving those moments. And it hurts, man. And one of these days it's going to happen. Maybe we'll break that curse, but gosh, video might have to go out tomorrow.
We almost had a baseball team that became the Boston Red Sox. So there's a long history, and it's going to be a great video. My dad's 79, says Brad, and I want him to see a Super Bowl. Yeah, same with me. Well, my dad's 78. So he's right there with your dad, Brian, and I would love to see 70. My dad might be mad. Maybe I'm off a year. Give me a break, Dad. I know. Maybe 78. But I'd love to see love to have him see one as well. And then we got Steve. So we talked about Steve last time. He's a world-renowned top steak cook. He's number 2, I think, in the world and we're gonna get Steve on a show. Steve and I exchanged an email. And I'm like, how about we, target a show after the season, hopefully in 2 weeks. Little did I know it would come to an end this week. So we're gonna get Steve on the show, and we're gonna talk about cooking the best steaks possible because everyone could use this information right here. I'm looking forward to it. Brian says, I honestly think I'll have tears of joy if the Bills win a Super Bowl. Dude, we probably would have seen a lot of tears right now if we would have won that game. I mean, I'd seen it before. It had been so long, but guys like Jake and Sean and Brett, I remember that first win against the Raiders. I just remember how special it was. I was hoping they'd see it. I was hoping to see it again, give us another opportunity. Just not our year once again. I don't know what it is. I don't know who we ticked off. And it was a weird start for me. So my wife had planned, we're doing this every month now at the end of the month. We're having our family come over. Like we hadn't been doing enough of this. So we're bringing our family over for dinner. She had planned it not knowing this was going to be the championship game. So she also plans, my father-in-law is a pastor. So we go to church this morning, feeling good about going to church. First thing he says to me, what, you come to church to pray for your bills today? I'm like, well, now that you brought it up, maybe. And he goes, well, there's a member of the congregation here, a couple of them that are Chiefs fans. I'm like, well, we're family. And then, so we should get the edge. And then so this guy comes up in his Chiefs outfit, actually just a sweatshirt, and he's doing a reading. And I'm like, I purposely did not wear any Bills gear because I think that's just wrong, but he did it. So my father-in-law gives me a chance. He goes, well, there's another team out here. And he goes, Mike, what's that team? And I'm like, go Bills. So I say this in church. Over to the right, I hear some people like clap a little bit. I'm like, all right, I got some support here. But and I go wish them good luck. I was trying to be good and all that. But I didn't know if that was a good sign that a Chiefs got up to do the reading. I'm thinking, oh no, this is going to be, or was it a good sign that I was there to be able to say go Bills? As it worked out, it was a sign that we're going to lose the game, I guess. Let's see here. You're going to cook Wagyu steaks. What's that? What's a Wagyu steak?
Wagyu steak. That's a nice cut of meat right there. That's all I got to say. Oh,
I've never heard of it. What the hell?
Top tier.
Steve, enlighten us on Wagyu meat, please,
Wagyu.
because I'll tell you what, it is something special. Brett, sorry, I had to go to this. Brett, listen, keep the faith, brother. Keep the faith, man. Listen, it's going to happen. Yeah. And I want to remind you all, this is a tough time to remind you of this, but there was a time when the Buffalo Bills had lost a game 6-3 against the Cleveland Browns in 2009 to a Derek Anderson-led team. He threw for 23 yards. He completed 2 passes, 2 for 17, 23 yards and an interception, and his team beat the Buffalo Bills. Look where we are right now. AFC Championship. We're upset about a loss, but never forget where we came from. And I get it. That's a terrible excuse, but also never forget where you came from. Boom.
Yeah, Chad. And Chad, you're one of the lucky ones to be able to see your team win a Super Bowl while your parents are still alive. So I still have that opportunity. I'm hoping it happens. And I wish that for many Buffalonians as well. Mike, Cody, and Jake, who y'all pulling for 2 Sundays from now? If you had to pick one over the other, Chiefs open up at minus 1.5, minus 1.5. I'm going to throw it to you, Cody. You're the unbiased one in here. I got to throw it to you.
Yeah, it's a tough flip that I've got to do in my brain because I was obviously coming into this one as a pretty big Bills fan. Obviously, it didn't work out, so now we are where we are. So I got to go with Chiefs. Like if I just want to win, and who I think will probably end up winning this one, like I do think I would lean to the three-peat happening as well. But, I've got the family link back there that I've got a bunch of people that I know who are Chiefs fans, so they get to see the three-peat. At this point now, I kind of hate both teams. So, like, if we can do some history, cool stuff, like, let's do some history, cool stuff. And then lastly, like, I just hate Philly with a burning passion. Like, I just despise their battery throwing fans. Not about that city at all. Like, if you have to grease your light posts and eat poop on the sidewalk after you win a Super Bowl, I don't think you deserve to win anything. And so, yeah, I'll go with KC for those multitude of reasons.
All right. Jake, what about you?
Yeah, as tough as this loss is, I would always root for the team that beat the Bills in the playoffs, because then it's like, hey, we lost to the Super Bowl champions, right? So it makes you feel a little bit better, right? I think I'm gonna have to side with Cody on this one, and it pains me to say, because I'm frustrated. We lost to them, but pay respect where respect's due. We got our guys Chad and Weston. They are they've supported our show, and they also said, remember what happens if they do win a three-peat. They're gonna be rooting for the Bills, so maybe I'm gonna root for them.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, hey, we lost to the Super Bowl champs if they do win it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm pulling for the Chiefs, and I don't know about you guys, but I have this weird way of who I'm pulling for. I always want, if I want the AFC, I always want the AFC. That's where my team is. I want the AFC to represent and dominate. I'm even a guy like, hell, if someone in our own division wins, I hear we say all these other podcasts. Oh, I hate the Bills. I hate this team. Look, if you beat us in the East and you're in the chance to go to the Super Bowl, I'm pulling for our team. I'm pulling for our division. If the division doesn't make it, I pull for the conference. And the only time I'll go against that is if somebody's dominating too much. Like I rooted for Brady. I wanted him to get his 7th Super Bowl. I did. I pulled for him, and I pulled for Brady a couple times. But when they start dominating too much, I start looking the other way. But this time, like you guys said, it's Philly. I'm not a big fan of Philly, and of course, I want the AFC to win, and I want to see history. That's another thing you can look at to be able to tell your grandchildren you were there. You see history, the three-peat. And Cody, I don't know if they get the three-peat. We have a friend, Rick. He might still be out there. I might have left us. He says Pat Mahomes is already the greatest of all time. They get a three-peat. I mean, you got to be starting that conversation.
I saw something right after the game that I think really struck home with me. I don't think, even if he gets the three-peat, I don't think we're having the conversation about greatest of all time yet. But with comparing their careers, Patrick Mahomes far exceeds with what he's done in the early part of his career. He has far exceeded what Tom Brady did. And so, if that continues, or even if it's just half of what Brady did at the back end of his career, he's still probably greatest of all time. You still need to dominate for the 20 years that Brady did, in my opinion, or not 20, but give it a good 15 run or whatever it is, and dominate for over a decade like Brady did. But what he's done for the first, 7-8 years now in the league, whatever he's done to this point, it is much better than what Brady did in his early part of his career. So he's well on the way to being the greatest of all time, but I don't think this win would cement that already in place for me personally.
Go KU1. I can only hope. KC three-peats and Kelsey and Jones retired. The big question is, does Kelsey put a ring on it? Does Kelsey put a ring on it, marry Taylor Swift, and sail off into the sunset? Beautiful rest of the world. I don't know. Somebody said, or rest of their life. Somebody said no, she would be bored if he's taking it she's got to work and be the breadwinner. She's not going to be dealing with that well. But hopefully, Jones, Kelsey retire could open up the opportunity for another AFC team to start representing the Super Bowl next year.
See, I don't want that though. I want to beat them at their best.
You want to beat them, huh?
It's such a cop out, right? You can't.
No,
yeah.
I'll take it anyway, Jake. I don't care. I can't take it anymore. Nah, you're right. I don't think I don't know. It'll be interesting for Kelsey. When does he? I don't know. He's going to go for if they got the three-peat, don't you think you got to stay around another year and go for the 4? Don't you think? You got to go for the Grand Slam? Let's go.
Just keep going. Yeah, just keep going.
Why not? Hell, I'm all right. He knows that these other players, these younger players, are going to help him get there. When he needs to make the plays, he will. He showed that in the last game. And I'll bet you see him do something special in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't doubt it. Sank, how you feeling, man? Coming in late here, says, I wonder if we are able to beat them at any point. This really felt like a chance. How Manny beat Brady first time.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's a killer. That one hurts.
It does, because there's every time the Bills have been a very good team, there's always been that one team better. When you look at the Super Bowl losses, the 4 of them, Bills were like, except for that first year, Bills were always that second best team. And here we are now. You can argue, and it's the Chiefs, right? They're always second to the Chiefs. I don't know how we get past that. I don't. Keep going back and trying. It's hard to wait a whole year, Jake.
That's just it too. I mean, it's so much can happen in a year. It took everything to get back here. I mean, we extracted every little bit of just everything that this team had this year to get to this point. And now we got to do it all over again. Man, that's tough. Yeah. It's tough to swallow. Tough pill to swallow.
Go KU one. So you telling me if they win the Super Bowl, do you think Travis retires? Let me know.
He doesn't think they could do a 4-peat.
Well, it's a lot, and it's a lot of stress on him. But I don't know. When does Andy Reid finally call it? Right? When does he have enough?
He signed an extension, I think.
How old is Andy Reid right now? How old is he? Anyone know?
Look that up, actually. Let's see.
And then how old's look up Kelsey as well.
Andy Reid is 66.
Kelsey's 34, I believe, turning 35.
Yeah, that's right.
So
actually, he is 35 now. Wow.
Okay, so he turned in season, yeah.
So Pat Carroll, who I think just is he back?
Pete Carroll, yes.
Pete Carroll. How old is he? Is he the oldest coach?
Yes, he's coming in as oldest head coach in the league, 74, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy.
So that just throws that out the door. Andy Reid could go for another 8 years. Yeah, better get on the treadmill. Better get on the treadmill a little bit. Gotta get a little in shape. Come on, that heart's not going to last you if you don't start working out a little bit. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how Andy does it, man. Dude, Andy Reid, with all his success back in the day with the Eagles, falling short, took him forever, right? And then he comes to the Eagles and just him, the match between him and Mahomes was magic. And there you go. But
the crazy part is he's the winningest head coach in Chiefs history and Eagles history, and he's playing his former team yet again in the Super Bowl.
That's insane.
Wild. Yeah.
Steve says many will blame McDermott, but Josh was not great tonight either. It's a total team effort, and no one man can change the outcome. I'm with you, Steve. 100%. I'm with you. Definitely, Josh came out of the gate a little hot. Like you could tell, the nerves were there, and yeah, he that first 3 and out was not good, and or 6 and out, whatever it was. But he needed that, and that was big too. It always seems like, Jake, why does it always seem like the home team wins the coin toss?
I know it, right? Yeah, they do.
That kicking off is such an advantage. I feel it's such an advantage, especially in a big game like this, because the nerves are there. You want to get that, you want to have that opportunity to go 2 for 1 second half, and you get that last final drive in the first half, and then get it in the second half. Man, I don't know. I knew right away, like, oh damn, here we go. But the Bills overcame it, and the Bills got the lead back. And what can we say? I'm with you, Steve. No, not McDermott's fault.
Yeah.
Chad said he's 73. Is that Reed 73? Oh no, we
Pete Carroll.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, though, yeah. So his birthday's September 15th. So at the beginning of next season, he will be 74 years old. That is, and he's got a lot of energy. That guy, great gum chewer too. I'll tell you what, he's got a freaking. He's good at that.
Always,
right?
Always in high energy. I mean, to be 74 and in your first season as a head coach, I mean, it's kind of like what Bill Belichick, I guess, is doing down at UNC.
Right.
But incredible what they're still doing at their age, and the level of just like absolute drive that they have. Like those are the type of guys, like, you know nothing else but football, and if you didn't have it, you couldn't survive. You couldn't function as a human. Like,
yeah,
those are just football guys through and through. Nothing else in life matters.
Yep, I love it.
Brandon B says Saquon Barkley will win the Super Bowl because it was his birthday on Super Bowl Sunday, February 9th. So what a great present for him.
Oh,
there's also, I think also Cooper DeJean it's his birthday as well.
Wow.
So I believe they have 2 birthdays on the Super Bowl.
It's going to be a great game. Saquon Barkley is kind of a cheat code. It was sort of like Derrick Henry in Baltimore. So it's going to be interesting. I do like Saquon Barkley. Of all the Eagles players, I do like Saquon Barkley. He's just unbelievable. But we'll see. So, yeah, B-Bake. Not to be confused with Blake. B-Bake. What is this? Is this B his first name? Bake his last name?
Yes. Brian, his first name.
Brian Bake. Sorry, I was calling you somebody else last show. Jake didn't correct me, and neither did Cody, so I blame them both.
We just let it go.
Yeah, we're going through.
I don't know. We have Blake, and it's Jake's brother, and we have a lot of going back and forth because we did expect him to be on our show one day, or actually for a lot of our shows, being a doctor, kind of catching us up on injuries and stuff. Didn't happen. He's a busy man. I get it. But Cook had 8.4 yards per touch today, echoing what Jake said earlier. Every time Cook was involved, good things happen. That'll be one of the big what ifs looking back at this game. Absolutely, 100%. Why was he not touching the ball in that final drive? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't figure that out. It's
they came out of that gate throwing the ball first and second down. Why are you not running them? Wear them out. Keep wearing them out. Wear that defense out. Get them tired. They're not going to stop a tush push, or they're not going to stop anything. You run them. You wear them down. It's crazy.
Yep. You still got the 3 timeouts in pocket. It's not like you were in a hurry up 2-minute drive offense there. I mean, obviously it was like 3:30 left to go, but you're not struggling for time or anything like that. You can run a normal offense, and it really felt like they were running pressure 40 seconds left drive down the field to try to secure something. It was a little bit suspect there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then again, just all the Ty Johnson runs on first and second down. I know he only had 6 carries, I guess, in the game, but it felt like a lot of times James Cook was just on the sidelines for no reason a lot of the time that I could figure out. Would have, like you all said, would have loved to have seen more of him in this game for the Bills.
So, you ride your hot hand. I don't get it, Yeah, it just again, man. And I love Ty Johnson. No disrespect to him. Best third down back in football, right? But you wouldn't expect him to be the guy.
On first and second down, taking carries, especially, like
I said, the only reason I can see that is they knew they were going to come out throwing the ball, because that is the one flaw of Cook, is pass blocking. So Brady must have knew we're coming out throwing, and I disagree with that whole mindset.
Yeah.
I guess Shula has the record at 347. So how many wins? And does this include, when we talk 347, are we talking playoff and regular season?
I will let you know in 1 second. I think that's right.
I think it's combined.
Okay. And so I know Belichick wasn't far behind. I thought he would actually coach another year, trying to go for that. He's not far behind.
15 wins behind, I believe.
15 wins. I mean,
2 seasons probably
would have had it. How far is Andy Reid behind? Anyone know?
So Andy Reid, 273 career wins in the regular season, and in the playoffs, he has 27. So we're talking, so he's right at 300 total wins combined, which is incredible.
Man, he needed about another 4 years, maybe.
And actually, I'm sorry, they didn't include today. So now he has 301.
301.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah, most realistically, maybe 4 years, 3 years if they went 16-1 every year.
Yeah.
Our scripted plays have been the worst in the league all year. Not sure why, because Brady has been so wonderful all year. It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, I agree with that, Steve. I definitely agree with that. JJ, Bills got robbed again. We're Bills fans, and we're used to this, to be honest.
Unfortunately, JJ, unfortunately. Like, people were asking me, what do you, I don't know how many people texted me today and yesterday. What do you think? What do you think? How you feeling? I said, well, this is our best opportunity, but as a Bills fan, I'm always nervous, and, I don't know why. I expect the worst. I do. I expect the worst. So just had my heart broken too much. It just continues to happen. Damn. And do you think losing Benford so early killed us? It hurt us. I don't think it killed us. JJ, we were winning that game. We were up 22-21. Had an opportunity on a tush push to extend the drive, go score a touchdown, go up by 8. And then you get the ball with 3:33 with 3 times to go? JJ, no, it didn't kill us. I don't think so. You guys agree? Disagree?
I agree. Yeah, you can't let that define you. That whole last series, just you got to throw it out the window. That was awful, terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be really, really generous, you could attribute at most 14 points to it because of those like 2 drives that they scored on whenever he first came in. I'd probably maybe say like a 7-point swing, but still, like, it's one player and an entire. There's 11 guys on the field on both sides of the ball. That's not the reason why it's killing you and making you lose the game, but it's certainly an impacting factor. But I don't think it's like main reason. I think there's larger things that were in that game, but obviously it didn't help.
And I keep going back. I'm upset that they made him inactive for 4 or 5 weeks. Jake, I mean, he hasn't seen the field much at all, and there was opportunity for him to get more play time. I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know if he missed. I think it was 4 or 5 games. I don't know if they even activated him the last game of the year. You would think they would, but I just know that he was inactive so many times, and I don't know. I mean, obviously this relationship, I don't know how it's got to end soon. I think first rounder, lots of potential, and it's just failed for some reason. But again, I don't chalk that up to our loss. I don't say that's why we lost at all.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you got to move on from him. Unfortunately, I liked him a lot, Mike.
We both did. That was our guy, right? We wanted him.
Yeah.
We knew McDuffie was going to go. We know Stingley was going to be gone. And I know you didn't like Stingley your first year, but man, that dude's turned out to be a gem for you.
I will fully admit to being wrong. That dude is absolutely awesome.
He's so good.
Him and Lockdown Lassiter have been fantastic this year. It's fantastic having those two on the back end of the defense.
Yeah. So Jake and I were doing our evaluation, and he's 6'1", runs a 4.38, played press, was very good in college. But I should listen to my dad. My dad said I never like Elam. He never liked Elam. He always gets beat, and he has to use the speed to try to make up for it. But I had hope for him. Man, look at the video I put out in the beginning of the season, Jake. Spent a lot of time on that. I was the biggest Elam fan, but I'm not putting this on him. This is not his fault.
That video may blow up now, Mike. I mean, people be flocking to that.
People would be like, yeah, this aged well, didn't it? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe Elam goes on to another team and becomes a top cornerback. We'll see. He's still young in his career. Once Allen in the Bills, I like that. Like you're saying, we're going to win a Super Bowl. Be sure to make a budget for Super Bowl gear. It gets expensive, but worth it.
Hey, going back to Stank's question too, do we have a tight end problem? I want to answer that too. Yeah, I think we do. And I don't know if it's necessarily on them in particular, or if it's on the play calling in general. Because I felt like the middle of the field was open. And once we hit Dalton Kincaid on that first pass, I'm like, damn, it's going to be a day. These guys are going to eat all day. And it just never happened and never came to fruition. So I don't know if it's necessarily all them. Now, there were plays that, Dalton Kincaid, he had a bad day today. There's no doubt. But, I mean, you got another juice guy in Dawson Knox who can, I mean, he had a nice catch today, and no wheels at all on this guy, but he's going to lower his shoulder and, make a juice play for you on offense. So would love to have seen a little bit more of that. Just, again, very frustrating. The minimal usage all year. I felt like Dalton Kincaid was going to be a 100 catch guy this year, and it just never happened.
This could be another bust. First rounder.
I hope not.
I mean, it was only second year. I'm not going to go crazy, say that. Hell, I gave Kyer many years. But it was disappointing. And I know, Cody, you had something to say. Look, Dawson Knox only had one target, caught it. So no to your question on tight end issue for Knox. I thought Knox showed up when he's had to. He's solid, good blocker. Kincaid, question mark, scratching my head. More than a couple drops this season. I don't know what his drop percentage was or whatever. We're going to look at that closely. But definitely a disappointment. Cody, what do you guys say, sir?
Yeah, luckily, like drops are one of the most quote unquote sticky stats that are out there in the league. I don't really worry about drops too much. At least you're getting open to get the target is typically the way that I look at it. But is there a tight end problem? I don't think so. But I think there was definitely is like Jay's point. There's a definite lack of living up to the expectations that were set within this team and the expectations that a lot of everybody from the outside thought was going to happen with this offense, and then what it turned into. Because truthfully, yeah, he should have been used a lot more over the middle, in my opinion, as well. Obviously, Khalil Shakir stepped up into that role big time, but you could have two guys perfectly forming into the middle of the field, and it just never really seemed to come to fruition, either because of him not being open or play calling, whatever the case. I don't think it's a problem that like needs to be addressed with another draft pick or a free agent. I still really like both of those players, but obviously didn't live up to expectations for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I just hope the Chiefs fans send I don't know, $45,000 plus over to Kincaid for his charity, whatever, like we did with Mark Andrews. I'm sure there's a GoFundMe already, someone in Buffalo or somewhere. Let's go, donate to a charity for Dalton Kincaid. Yes, Steve, I totally agree with you. So, look, I've been a fan of Elam. I thought he didn't get a good shot, and they made him inactive, and they kept bringing up guys like Jamarcus Ingram. Who else were they bringing up instead of Elam? Jake,
Jamarcus Ingram definitely would have made a lot more sense to me in this situation.
Yeah, they had been bringing him up over Kyer, and so I don't know if Ingram was dinged up or whatever. So I was completely surprised that they made him active. I was kind of happy. I'm like, okay, because I let's bring him up. But you're right, and I saw that too, and I'm like, why now? Why now? That's the question. Not that it matters at the present time, but just so y'all know, Houstonians are always pulling for Ed Oliver. He had a great game tonight too. Several Bills played great games, just not enough. I'll tell you who didn't play a great game. Von Miller.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you, Von. Russo, like you said, although Jake, it was weird. They just kept hitting him low and knocking him out. He'd fall on the ground. Like they were just, because he's such a big dude, you hit him low. And it said, I don't know how many times I saw them do that to Rousseau, and he's on the ground. And of course, Pat Mahomes is able to. There's no.
I mean, fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice. Yeah. Like you can't keep letting that happen to you. If you know it's coming, you got to be aware out there. I mean, at that point, you chop yourself too, right? I mean, you got to do something about that. Yeah, but no, you're right. Yeah, Von Miller had a tough day too. But yeah, Eddie Oliver, I'll tell you what. Big fan, man. And by the way, he rides a horse here in Buffalo. You'll see him sometimes going up and down the street, just on his horse. Nice. Incredible. Yeah.
I thought Epinesa was quiet. I'll tell you what, Jordan Phillips made that huge sack in that game to force the field goal and give the Bills what should have been the winning drive. I mean, they got the chance to do it. And again, great guys. Like you talk about Pat Mahomes, you talk about Tom Brady, they're going down and winning that game. Peyton Manning, they're going down, and even Rodgers in his prime. They get the ball with that much time, you know what's going to happen. They're going to most likely win that game. We fail. Brutal. Kincaid had some plays he needed to make, and he did not. I call them drops because I expect more from him. Yeah, that was a clear drop on that last play. I'm not blaming him for this loss, but my God, that would have kept the drive alive, and Josh did all he could to heave it up there and at least give him an opportunity, make that catch, and he had one other drop. He's had a couple other drops during the season as well, Kincaid. So I don't know, man. JJ, what player do you think are gone, if any, or staff?
Jake, well, I would say Von Miller's probably one of those guys. Yep. I could definitely see maybe them parting ways with Curtis Samuel. I felt like the playoff was good, but the overall experiment didn't go great. Maybe they give him another shot. It was a 3-year, $24 million deal, so they probably will keep him.
I thought it was $10 million a year. Was it just 24?
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, you might be right. I thought, no, maybe 3 years, 24. I think it was 3 years, 24.
I'll take a look while you're talking, sir.
Rasul Douglas might not be here next year. Hate to say that. Other players that are bigger names, I think that's really it for right now that I can see. But guys that I would like to bring back, Matt Collins, Amari Cooper. I think you bring back Amari.
Matt Collins for
Ty
sure.
Johnson. Ty Johnson, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mac, you're right. Signed a 3-year, $24 million contract, including a $6.9 million signing bonus. If we were to release him, there would be a dead cap of $11 million next year.
All right, so we're not parting ways with him then. Can't do it.
I think Von, we do get some savings there if we release him. Still some dead cap, but you get some savings there.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you said Von. I think Elam. I don't know what they're going to do with Elam.
Elam, yeah.
I mean, because this would be his 4th year, right? He was a first round pick, so we got his final year of his contract coming up. So not really sure what happens there. I mean, he's under contract. It's cheap. I don't know. Rasul Douglas. A little bit of disappointment for me this year. Look, Rasul, I thought where he shined this year is making some tackles for losses. He played the run D pretty well. But in coverage, Jake, I mean, he had no interceptions, which is not a defining thing for a player, but kind of is sometimes. And I don't know. I don't know what you thought of his coverage this year. He just was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't up to the standards that he set last year to, I guess, bring on the idea of extending him again.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, we've been talking about. I was trying to get in here and get the hell out as soon as possible so I can go shed some tears with my son. Maybe even take a walk around, go to our favorite spot, get some candy, get some ice cream, something. It was a great year. It was a great year. And I started the show with thank you very much, Buffalo Bills. Nobody expected you to even make the playoffs. Thought you would be the 3rd best in the division. You ended up being the 2nd best team in the AFC. And so thank you. It was an exciting year. And we'll roll it back again. We always do. We'll roll it back again. Steve, what you got here? Let's see. So how would we approach next season? Continue reloading as we planned last offseason, or keep the whole squad together? Try run it back. I think to Sink's point, Jake, the Bills are set up well. Our O-line's intact. I don't think there's any contract issues there. As far as our skill positions, I think got to look at Cook a little bit. Maybe do you start to work on a deal, bring him back. I know it's not a very popular thing these days with signing big contracts, but you see what other guys are doing for their team. Saquon, Derrick Henry. I think you got to make a deal with this guy. But otherwise, I mean, look, dude, I think it's unlimited. Where do you go in the draft? You can go skill position. I mean, I feel like everybody eats, but it would be nice to have that big speedster to take the top off of, like a Worthy. No, bigger than Worthy. I want somebody who's got some meat on his bones. Not taking anything away from Worthy. He actually was the best receiver on the field today as far as yardage goes. Then you go D tackle. Get someone big to go right next to Ed Oliver. Daquan. I'm not sure if Daquan, what his contract is. He might be gone. I don't know. I gotta look. Get a D tackle. Go edge. I think you're going to see a focus on the defense. Obviously, Jake, get a 6'4", 250 linebacker. I'm done with these little dudes. I'm sorry. I know you said the game has evolved. Let's go. Let's get this big 6'4" Jack Campbell dude.
I just don't know if that fits our scheme, though, unfortunately. So unless they switch out of a nickel, I think they're going to continue to run a nickel scheme. You have to. If you have a top 3 nickel corner in the NFL and Taron Johnson, I feel like you kind of have to stick with that. However, I did like the base D that we ran from time to time with the 4-3 with Dorian Williams in the mix.
Yeah, I love that too. Azan So, Steve, I'm right with you.
It's a good year for that. I'll tell you that. Right, I mean, edge and defensive line this year in general. I mean, Cody knows he's starting to chop up some film.
I don't actually chop up film on him, but at least taking the content of other people who watch it. And yeah, D-line is absolutely stacked this year. D-line and running back, if you need them, you're in a good spot.
Thanks, Go KU1. We appreciate you joining us week in and week out. And again, good luck. And all three of us, you heard us pulling for your Chiefs to make history here.
Absolutely.
Bills Super Bowl 60. All right, let's go. I'm down for it. So sorry. I was trying to close out the show. Jake, final thoughts on the season?
Definitely above and beyond expectations. At the beginning of the year, I did a prediction show, and I had the Bills losing again in the playoffs. I did not have them winning a Super Bowl, so it just stings a little bit more when something like that comes to fruition. And God, I mean, I said 12-5. I underestimated what they did this year at 13-4. So just a huge, tremendous shout out to all of them. It was an incredible ride. It was the most enjoyable Bills season maybe that I've ever watched or ever been a part of. And special. As long as you have JA-17, man, you always have a chance. Always.
Yep, that was proven this year. More than proven. Cody, I want to thank you again. I hope to see you on many of our shows, especially our upcoming draft and all the work we're going to put into that, and then also the free agents, all that good stuff. Definitely want to keep going with you, rolling with you, see you and maybe Be Big on a show someday. I want to see Be Big.
He almost said he was going to jump on tonight, but he had something come up. So he's willing and ready whenever we can make it work sometime this offseason.
So Cody, I'll put the pressure on you. How do you make us feel better right now?
The way you feel better is you got to a pretty lofty point of being one of the best 4 teams in the NFL right now. And obviously there's going to be only one that actually comes away happy with the season and where it's at. This is truly why it's not a solace to anybody, and it's probably not the way that most people look at it, but I am truly just a fan of the NFL. Like, at the end of the day, I think like that's the mind switch that I have to have happen. As soon as my team is out, you love football, right? I think everybody here who's watching this absolutely just loves football at the heart of it. And obviously fandom will always come first. But truthfully, just having this game, like, we only have one football game left, and then we have 7 months of nothing. I mean, we have combine, draft, free agency. Like, there's NFL never dies. It's the biggest and baddest sport in all of the world. Excuse me, soccer. I don't know. You live in a different world in my brain. But, like, we'll still have enough, but enjoy everything for what it is in the season, that what it was, because we're going to go into the 7 months of solitary confinement, it feels like, where we don't have football anymore. And just, it sucks to be at this point. 31 other teams, are always going to go to this point and not be able to live off the high for the rest of the off season. But it is just, it's a fantastic game. I mean, it brings people together randomly. I don't even know how it happened. I get to meet y'all and ride along with the Bills for one more weekend as an actual fan. Like, just absolutely take solace in the fact that this game is fantastic. Your team is fantastic. You're going into next season bigger and better. Your cap's in a good space. You just get to add more pieces, add more weapons, run it back next year. Obviously, it sucks right now, but just truthfully a love of the game and what it does for the community and everybody who absolutely loves this game. That's where I sit.
Yeah, well said, Cody. Man. Well said. And thanks for joining, especially me tonight, because Jake was a little late. I needed somebody.
It's on me.
Not riding solo. Not riding solo in despair.
I want to say thank you to everyone out there in the chat for this year. You'll see us still on upcoming shows, and we'll probably do some type of Super Bowl preview as well. But thank you so much for a fantastic year. We couldn't do it without you. Jake, we fell a little short of our goal of 2,000 subs. We're sitting around right at 1910, been hovering there for a while. 90 more and we'll get there. I know we'll get there soon enough. But again, appreciate everyone in the chat, because like I said, we really love your support, and we can, it makes it a lot more fun. I remember the days, Jake, where we were doing live shows and we had nobody in the chat.
Right.
And the other thing too is one of the reasons I put this channel together, and I know Jake feels the same, is to meet great people like Cody, B-Big, Chad, Weston, Keith, all the great people that we've met, Steve, Trek Reviewer. Of course, we met Brett and Sean as well. It's just great to all the amazing people that we've met doing these shows. Go KU. Like, look, we got 3 Chiefs fans who come and talk with us every week. They're cool. And The only team we don't have that I haven't seen is an Eagle team, an Eagle member.
Right.
And maybe we don't want that.
It's for
But
the
again,
best.
Yeah.
so yeah, great season, Jake, Cody, great season, and we'll see all you soon. And thanks again. Go Bills.
Go Bills.